Hello and welcome to Brainwaves, episode 166, bringing you the best in tabletop gaming news. My name is Jamie Adams.
And I'm Oliver Kinner, and these are the headlines for the week of Monday, the 4th of August, 2025. Czech Games editions suffer a miscast. Gamefound go-goes for a new acquisition. You'll get no assistance for that itch. All this and more on this episode of Brainwaves.
On the 22nd of July, Czech Games Edition, the games company, announced its summer lineup. This included their 10th anniversary editions of Codenames, including an XXL version, a pictures version, and a Harry Potter-themed version. Now, we're sure that most of our listeners are aware that J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, has become increasingly critical of trans people, the trans community, and any attempt to legislate on trans individuals' behalf. Rowling has gone as far as funding lobbying efforts to change the laws of the UK, which recently resulted in new government guidance on gender recognition that's had a severely negative impact on trans people's abilities to live their lives. Czech Games Editions first published a Harry Potter version of Codenames in 2018, just before Rowling's views became widely known. Now, this new edition has gained the company many complaints and questions as to why they would continue to associate themselves with a franchise that is irrevocably tainted by the actions of its author. Now, rather than addressing those concerns, Czech Games Edition put out this statement.
When we embarked on creating the newly announced version of Codenames many years ago, it was a dream coming true for many of us at CGE. The vast world of magic featured in the upcoming Codenames has been a source of inspiration. It ignited a passion for learning English and exploring new worlds through reading. It shaped our childhoods, sparked imagination, or gave comfort in difficult times. We know many people around the world share the same sentiment about this universe, even among those who have been hurt by the public views and actions of its creator. Deciding whether those feelings should also transfer to the once beloved world is up to everyone, and we fully respect and understand those who do not wish to engage with this game. We still believe in the magic of stories and the connection they create between people. As this is an ongoing conversation, we encourage everyone to approach discussion with care, empathy, and respect, both online and in person.
Now, we'd like to draw listeners' attention to the fact that neither the Harry Potter intellectual property nor J.K. Rowling are mentioned by name in this post. Many trans creators and those who support them called out CGE on social media. No Pun Included and Shut Up and Sit Down both pledged to stop covering games by the company, and many smaller creators followed suit. Rodney Smith from Watch It Played also posted a short video to Blusky explaining his stance on the matter. Now, while Rodney doesn't go as far as to say the channel will never cover CGE games anymore, he does express a desire to revisit many of the relationships he has with publishers based on the games in that publisher's catalogue. Efka Bladakas, co-creator of No Pun Included, gave this quote to Board Game Wire.
Boycotting someone sounds like a big thing, but we want to make it clear from our side it isn't. We're simply choosing to no longer cover an established publisher who made business decisions that are resulting in harm to a marginalized community. It's not the first one, and sadly it won't be the last. Czech Games Edition chose to carry a Harry Potter-themed game. We don't know over what circumstance they got the license, how long it has been in their hands, or what their contact looks like, and we dare not speculate. But somewhere, somehow, we presume a decision was made by them to carry on with this in 2025. And it is a decision that will hurt many people who enjoy board games and Codenames specifically. We don't want to be contributing to that harm, so our decision is automatic. At MPI, our output is curated and small, and because of that, we choose carefully what we cover. In an environment where more board games are being made than can ever be played, eliminating a publisher's catalogue from the roster allows for space for other voices to be showcased. We hope that as a byproduct of this decision, we can show an example to others who make media about board games, and if they made similar decisions, we think this is to be celebrated.
Tom Brewster, editor-in-chief of Shut Up and Sit Down, also gave Board Game Wire a quote.
I fail to see Harry Potter Codenames as anything but a soulless cash grab that's tremendously insulting to the trans folks J.K. Rowling has been trying her best to oust from public life. It's a product to sell to people who prioritize their nostalgia for children's fantasy over the culture that trans friends and family live in. Rowling is a miserable bigot who has routinely chosen to create a more dangerous world for trans people. She wields real influence and has used it to set us back as far as possible every single time. To tie a well-respected brand to such a visibly horrible individual is just a shockingly poor decision on all fronts. There are other published Harry Potter games out there, but I can see many of them being made before or whilst Rowling gestated into the frightful transphobe she's become. CG's attempt to have a bite of the apple has likely been created entirely within this era of blatant, all-out transphobia.
The Tabletop Games Designers Association also released a statement on the matter, which they concluded by saying,
"We urge CGE to reconsider their plans to release codenames Back to Hogwarts, or at least dedicate a portion of the proceeds to organizations such as the Trevor Project to offset licensing fees that flow back to Rowling."
CGE went so far as to block some social media accounts that were being critical of them. They also turned off commenting on many of their posts announcing the game. Rowling has publicly stated that money from royalty checks goes towards funding campaigns that target trans people, has denounced the stars of her films for standing up for trans rights, and has generally used all the power at her disposal to attack the trans community in the UK and beyond. In the most recent developments, a number of designers who had spoken out about CGE were contacted by the company. One of them is Marceline Lehman, designer of High Tides, who confirmed this in a Blusky post dated the 30th of July. On the same day, CGE posted this on Blusky and other social media platforms.
"We're grateful to everyone who engaged with us over the past few days and took the time to share their perspectives. At CGE, our aim was never to cause harm, and we acknowledge that with our recent codenames announcement, we have. We're working hard within our constraints to find the best way forward, and we'll update you as soon as we can. We understand that what we have done has caused distress and are working towards a concrete solution with several members of the affected communities. Please bear with us as we figure this out."
Now, this story is clearly developing still, and we'll bring you updates as and when we get them. Now,
where to start?
Yeah. I think before we get into some more discussions, our little discussion portion about this, you reach out to them?
So I with my German background, as some of you know, I was born in Berlin, so German citizen still, actually. I've got one foot in sort of the German community, board game social media bubble, or whatever you want to call it. And I've seen some discussion about the topic because Heidelberg Games, who are the German localization partner for CGE, obviously have also released CGE Harry Potter. I don't know actually what the German version of the game is called. And they're promoted similarly to CGE. So you would expect that there'd be a similar outcry in Germany. Personally, what I saw, some people do. Plenty of people seem to be indifferent. Usual reactions, I think you probably have seen in the English-speaking world as well. Some people defend it and whatever. But I've reached out to Heidelberg Games directly. Again, you have to consider they are a smaller publisher. They're busy, and I get that. Not many people there. And I've asked them basically what their view was on this release and what it means. And they've come back to me on Blusky saying this, and I've translated this from their German post into English. So, double check their original if you want to check the source, and we put a link to that in the show notes. But here's basically the English version of what they said. "We are not transphobic, and we do not support this either. CNHP, so codenames Harry Potter, Back to Hogwarts is not a reissue. We do not comment on JKR, J.K. Rowling. Social media is not the place for constructive disclosure. Michael Krenzler, marketing." So the marketing person from Heidelberg has come back to me. And I get that. I asked on social media, and you can't have discussion on social media. It sounds like since then they are working on a statement that they're going to release. Again, I think they're probably busy with various events and things. I think there's Berlin Con happening this weekend, something like that. But yeah, we'll obviously let you know once they come back. I just found it interesting to see what a German localization company would say and what the German community is saying about this. But yeah, as I say, same response as I see in the English bubble. Some obviously say how awful this is. Some didn't even know about J.K. Rowling's trans activities because she's in the UK, and in Germany maybe that's not big news. But yeah, we'll obviously give you updates on that as well. So yeah.
Now, the point I kind of want to make now, there was some discourse back and forth on whether the blocked accounts that CGE blocked were to do with like a block list. I'm not entirely sure. I can't comment on that. We're not going to comment Brainwaves on that because we don't know the full information. However, this is a bad situation. We fully stand with the trans community. I don't think it's you know, if you listen to this podcast for any length of time, I don't think it's a shock to hear that.
No.
But what's interesting is CGE is getting, what we would say in Scotland, getting pelters for this. Meanwhile, companies like USAopoly, or the OP as it's known, or Asmodee, or Hasbro, all these companies who also put out Harry Potter themed games. And they've been doing that for a while. And there's issues. Of course, of course people have complained and had issues with it, but it's not really been this, I don't want to say vitriolic, but this fiery. Is it because CGE as a quote unquote respected board game publisher, and that's not to say that the OP and Asmodee are not respected board game publishers. It's the only word I can think of at this time, I apologize. But this particular level of CGE going, come on guys, have you been living with your head under a rock for the last couple of years? You should know what's going on.
Yeah. And I think the difference is, the original release in 2018, you probably can forgive because it wasn't quite clear what Rowling's views were, and certainly her actions didn't seem to be, if they were happening, were behind the scenes and not public. But now in 2025, I think, especially after that High Court judgment in the UK, don't know, has it really missed the Czech Republic or something? I don't know. It just, if at the very least it's tone deaf. If not, it's just, clearly, as some have called it, a cash grab. It's
completely, I'm going to be completely, unbiased here, or maybe biased here, and go, it's a soulless capital grab because the weaponization of nostalgia for monetary gain.
Yeah. And I think other publishers, he was saying about, the OP and Asmodee and others, and I'm thinking Ravensburg are probably releasing Harry Potter puzzles and whatever, but possibly not with, if they are doing it, I don't know what they've been doing recently. I did want to check that when they last released a Harry Potter themed game, because it seemed to be now Lord of the Rings seems to be the new thing. But just that fanfare, that CGE, and then no response and blocking, and Beckley actively blocking that open discussion that apparently was supposed to be happening from happening, seems to be bizarre.
I believe when you're listening to this, listeners, as opposed to listening to this, readers, I don't know, Gen Con, one of the biggest games conventions in the world, will just have finished in Indiana, United States, so there may be more news coming out at that time. We don't know. We don't know how CGE is playing this at
the moment,
Gen Con. So you might have to wait till the next episode, or you could have a look and see how it goes. Either way, we'll bring you updates as and when we get them.
Just one more thing, Ian isn't here, but I just want to read out his statement on Blue Sky about CGE, just to add voices, just to make sure. I personally didn't. I didn't publish anything myself on social media anywhere. I've got a copy of CGE Codenames, the 10th anniversary edition. Was given to me at UKGE. I was going to review that. Obviously, I'm not doing that now, but I wasn't saying anything publicly about any of this. But Ian's posted this 4 days ago, so July the 28th. It says this: to make it clear, we'll not be covering any of CGE games on the site in a review capacity. Even if they walk back on this now, I feel the damage is done. Blocking folk was cowardly. We will be covering stories involving the company on Brainwaves, which is obviously what we're doing now. So I just wanted to add that in.
Also, he did post a follow-up going, I know people are rightly angry with CGE. They want to make their voices heard. With Gen Con on now, basically, I would urge you to make sure you are speaking to the right people. Don't harass folk just working the booth for not great wages, if any at all. They aren't responsible for this.
Yes.
Don't go for the... exactly. Don't go for the people who are working... As Oliver can tell you, don't go for the people who are working at the booth, because there's a good chance they're only employed by them for the convention.
Go walk up to them and ask for the person, like the stand manager or someone like that. They may be able to then pass your comments on. But don't harass people working there.
I'm not saying don't get angry, because do
get angry, but don't get angry at the wrong people.
Don't get the wrong people. Use it in a constructive manner. Channel that into the right people, because we know who the real problem is. And just to make that clear before anyone takes that out of context, it's the hyper-capitalists.
Yes.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Speaking of hypercapitalism, Oliver.
Yeah, on the 23rd of July, Indiegogo, the global crowdfunding platform, announced it had been acquired by Gamefound, a rival platform in the space. Gamefound was founded in 2016 in Poland by Marcin Swiakot and Simon Marciszek and began as a pledge manager for Awaken Realms. Since then, it has evolved into a full-featured crowdfunding platform with a focus on tabletop games. The acquisition brings together Indiegogo's 38 million member community with Gamefound's experience in tabletop crowdfunding, which saw it raise over $165,000 in 2024. Sorry, $165 million in 2024, hosting 8 of the 10 biggest tabletop campaigns. As part of the merger, all of Indiegogo's crowdfunding categories will be migrated to Gamefound's proprietary infrastructure, including over 20 payment methods, integrated pledge and late pledge tools, multilingual and mobile support, and built-in analytics. Indiegogo will also adopt Gamefound's flat 5% fee and its tipping policy, which gives 100% of tips directly to creators. Indiegogo and Gamefound will continue to run in parallel, but campaigns will be discoverable across both sites, and users will be able to log in with either set of credentials. In a statement, Indiegogo CEO Julie de Pontbriand, who will remain in their role, said this of the merger.
It's time for crowdfunding to be a forward-facing industry again. Gamefound's technology is unrivaled, and we're thrilled to bring it to the Indiegogo's diverse community. Together, we're making crowdfunding more innovative, creator-friendly, and exciting than ever before.
Marcin Swiakot, who will become Group CEO, added this.
I strongly believe our success so far is a result of our simple philosophy. We need to have at least a 2 times better platform than the next competitor. Friendly and intuitive for backers, professional and reliable for creators. Our tech team is working extremely hard and shipping new features every 2 weeks. I could not be more proud of their focus and discipline.
The acquisition comes at a time of economic uncertainty, but Gamefound reports continued growth and stable backer engagement. Well, there we go. Gamefound buys Indiegogo and becomes bigger than Kickstarter.
I don't think bigger than.
It feels like it, though.
I mean, it feels like it, but I think it just makes it a bigger competitor to Kickstarter, not necessarily bigger than Kickstarter, because I still feel like kickstarting is still like the preferred social nomenclature for it.
Yeah. But it does mean now, obviously, Gamefound isn't just board games anymore. It's now all these other categories that come over from Indiegogo, which obviously is what Kickstarter is going. I think for people in the hobby, we always think Kickstarter is just board gaming. They're not. They never have been. Yeah. It's
just a very small window that we choose to view it through. But Gamefound was set up specifically as board games. So that'll still run. It's still board games specifically, but Indiegogo is still part of Gamefound. That's fine. Kickstarter, you got to buck up your ideas, guys.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens, and we'll let you know when we get more news. Scratch that itch, Jamie.
Okay, I will. Oh. Itch.io is a game site where many tabletop RPGs can be found, alongside works of fiction, computer games, comics, and much more. It's preferred by many creators as it takes a smaller cut of sales than sites like DriveThruRPG or Steam. Now, recently it's caused headaches, to say the least, for many of its clients as it moved to ban content it saw as not safe for work, commonly abbreviated as nsfw. On July the 24th, they put out a statement on the website saying this.
We have de-indexed all NSFW content from our browse and search pages. We understand this action is sudden and disruptive, and we are truly sorry for the frustration and confusion caused by this change. Recently, we came under scrutiny from our payment processors regarding the nature of some content hosted on itch.io. Due to a game titled No Mercy, which was temporarily available on itch.io before being banned back in April, the organization Collective Shout launched a campaign against Steam and itch.io, directing their concerns to our payment processors about the nature of certain content found on both platforms. Our ability to process payments is critical for every creator on our platform. To ensure that we can continue to operate and provide a marketplace for all developers, we must prioritize our relationship with our payment partners and take immediate steps towards compliance. This is a time-critical moment for itch.io. The situation developed rapidly, and we had to act urgently to protect the platform's core payment infrastructure. Unfortunately, this meant it was not realistic to provide creators with advance notice before making this change. We know this is not ideal, and we apologize for the abruptness of this change.
They go on to explain that this course of action will see some work removed permanently from itch, and that new procedures will have to come in to approve their work if using certain payment providers. Itch went further and actually stopped payment to accounts violating their new policy. Steam, the online PC platform, has also come under similar scrutiny from their payment providers, but their reaction has been less extreme due to the more closed nature of their ecosystem. The scrutiny from payment processors come at the hands of Collective Shout. The organisation says this about their aims.
Collective Shout is a grassroots campaigns movement against the objectification of women and the sexualization of girls. Collective Shout is for anyone concerned about the increasing pornification of culture and the way its messages have become entrenched in mainstream society, presenting distorted and dishonest ideas about women and girls, sexuality and relationships.
The game No Mercy that was referenced was banned by many platforms worldwide for its depiction of sexual violence against women. Now, Collective Shout claims they're not responsible for its removing all NSFW content. Their claim is that their objections were to content that involved sexualized violence and torture of women. The decision by itch to remove this NSFW content has left many wondering about leaving the site permanently. That itch has not accurately defined what they mean by NSFW content has left creators fearful that their money could suddenly be taken away from them for a perceived violation of the rules. Itch.io recently announced on the 29th of July that they are seeking out new payment processing partners who are more willing to handle the purchase of NSFW games. Some of the processing partners in question are things like MasterCard or Visa or PayPal. I'm sure you've heard of some of these. I mean, this is censorship. You know, this is right. Okay, if you've listened to this podcast for any time at all, you know that I think it's not a shocking statement to say that members of Brainwaves do not condone rape, torture of women.
Yeah.
However, because the companies go, no, we don't want this. So Itch and Steam bend over backwards and go, no, okay, it's all going. And be very vague about it.
Yes. I think that's the worst. As a creator, what are you going to do? You know, how are you going to gauge whether Itch is the right platform for your content? You know, it might be another platform that would take it if you don't know what the sort of, at least an outline. I mean, no definition would be ever perfect, but just, I think they even said something along the lines of, we know if it's NSFW when we see it. And I was like, okay.
Oh, great.
What do you see?
Yeah, exactly. If you know it's porn when you see it,
yeah.
Let's have a debate about what. No, I'm not going to get a debate about.
No.
Sake. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is kind of this censorship. If you don't like it, don't see it. Don't look at it.
Yeah, and as I say, we get if there is basically what do you want to call it, illegal content on there, and you know, sexual violence things, then yeah, that's fine. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about all the other things that now...
use a scalpel to excise it, not a net, just to get the whole thing, because that makes the problem worse.
Yes. Well, again, we'll bring updates as we get them.
Yeah. And speaking of updates, let's move on to an update.
As reported previously, Diamond Distribution, one of the largest distribution companies for comics and RPGs in North America, ran into financial difficulties early in the year and was declared bankrupt. Since then, the company has been in the news for a few more times, most recently for asking a court allowed to sell any stock in its warehouses in order to pay off creditors. Well, the saga continues, with Diamond trying to find money to cover its debts. On the 24th of July, Diamond Comic Distributors filed a motion in court to get approval to sell its shares in Diamond UK to an employee-led group from the UK subsidiary. The shares are currently held by Comic Exporters and Comic Holdings, both subsidiaries of Diamond. According to the court filing, investment bank Raymond James negotiated with a number of bidders for the sale of the shares, and the employee group submitted the most favorable offer of $2.1 billion. Although Universal Distribution had initially included an option to acquire Diamond UK in its initial offer, it didn't make it into the final purchase agreement for Alliance Game Distributors. The court has set a hearing for the 18th of August to consider the motion, following a period in which creditors may file objections. But that's not all, no. We also have an update on the bid by Diamond to sell stock in its warehouses, as I mentioned at the beginning. On the 29th of July, 2 groups of creditors filed legal documents addressing the ongoing dispute over whether Diamond may seize and sell consignment inventory stored in its warehouses. The ad hoc committee of consigners, which includes 2 game publishers and 9 comic publishers, filed a motion to suspend Diamond's request, citing unresolved questions of inventory ownership. The motion argues that a full legal process, including service and complaints, discovery, and possible appeals, is necessary before any such sale can proceed. A separate filing from the official committee of unsecured creditors called for a quick resolution of the dispute because they're worried that a lengthy battle is going to eat into the little money that is left in Diamond's accounts. Also on the 29th of July, Sparkle Pop LLC, the company that bought some of the assets of Diamond Comic Distributors and Diamond Select, filed an amended complaint against Alliance Entertainment. The new filing added a 5th count alleging that Alliance violated the non-disclosure agreement it signed during the acquisition process by soliciting or hiring Diamond employees. 7 employees were reportedly hired, and the complaint suggests that Alliance may be preparing to compete directly with Sparkle Pop's business. Alliance Entertainment had originally been awarded the assets of both Diamond Comic Distributors and Alliance Game Distributors, but later cancelled the agreement and filed a lawsuit after discovering that Wizards of the Coast would not continue supplying Alliance Game Distributors.
My brain hurts.
No, there's Diamonds, Alliances, there's the Sparkle Pop happening as well. But I think sort of the key thing here is that thing about selling stock in their warehouse that they haven't actually paid for yet is now on hold until actually is clarified who actually owns this stock. And I assume it's not Diamond that's owning it. But anyway, they're obviously trying to find money, and then companies countersuing, and the being countersued, and yeah, very complicated. And we'll draw a map of all the things later. We'll find them on the website. No, you won't. Anyway, on to the news, Jamie.
As reported by board game news website Board Game Wire on the 21st of July, Zatu Games, one of the UK's largest board game retailers, has been accused of exploiting low-paid apprentices and fostering a toxic workplace environment. Former employees have taken to sites such as Indeed and Glassdoor to describe workplace practices they found troubling. On Indeed, one review noted high turnover and described how management focused strictly on productivity targets. In another, a warehouse operative described Zatu as awful to work for, citing sudden dismissals during festive seasons and an overly heavy focus on key performance indicators. In addition, a Reddit user with the handle delicious-mine-9589 posted in the site's forum r-norwich to talk about the working conditions. The post has since been deleted, but we were able to retrieve an earlier version using the web archive, in which they had this to say.
Had an absolutely horrific experience. Had to practically beg to get my contract sent over. It never did. Absolutely zero communication, company-wide. Each and every mistake made by an employee is scrutinized to death. Towards the end, a manager sat me down to discuss my KPIs. This involved picking 120 units of product off the shelf each hour in a massive warehouse. When I explained to him this was simply not possible, given the other responsibilities I had, I got berated. It was at this point I decided to walk out and never return.
Zatu Games vehemently rejected the accusations made by employees. But David Budd, commercial director at Zatu Games, said this to Board Game Wire.
We take our apprenticeship program seriously. It's one of the most important ways we offer people genuine entry point into the tabletop and board game industry, which can otherwise be difficult to access. And we're proud to help bring fresh talent into the sector. An apprenticeship is, by its very nature, a fixed-term program. It provides a year to 18 months of hands-on experience alongside structured learning, mentoring, and regular feedback, but it doesn't automatically guarantee a permanent role at the end. That's true across most businesses who offer apprenticeships.
Budd stressed that all practices, including staffing levels and operational demands, comply with UK regulations and apprenticeship frameworks. He also said that performance expectations were typical of retail operations and denied any misuse of the government-supported apprenticeship scheme. He emphasised that Zatu is committed to offering fulfilling roles and training opportunities across the organisation. Now, if you've listened to this podcast for any time at all, it will not surprise you to hear that I personally have a dim view of companies that cut corners, squeeze as much out of staff and use them as mere machines in order to get more and more profit at the expense of people.
Yes, I agree.
I think it's good that Zatu ex-employees are sharing their experiences online.
Yeah.
Maybe take a leaf out the book from across the pond and unionize, address the problems from within the company.
Yes. And if
Go on, guys. No, yeah. Also, don't maybe, if that troubles you, that story, maybe don't buy from Zatu. The price might be quite good at one point, but
will you actually get the game?
A, will you get the game? And B, what kind of people, who are you screwing over? Just a little something to think of. Anyway.
Speaking of profits.
Speaking of profits.
Yeah. On the 29th of July, Games Workshop PLC, owners and makers of the various Warhammer IPs, released their annual report. Coming off another year of great success, the Nottingham-based firm, now in its 50th year, reported a 17.5% increase in total revenue, now totaling £617.5 million, and an operating profit of £261.3 million. This period was also the time when Games Workshop entered the FTSE 100. Direct sales through Warhammer stores is down 5.2% in the previous report, but £90.6 million came from online sales. This 365-day period also saw 30 stores opened and 8 closed, bringing the total to 570 stores in 24 countries, as well as an increase in subscribers to its Warhammer Plus service and more My Warhammer account users. The report also highlighted that the US tariffs may result in £12 million profit reduction in the next report, but that the company is still focused on long-term growth, not short-term results, and staff pay and record profit share maintained. And they're ahead of schedule on climate goals. Mark Lamb, non-executive chairman at Games Workshop, said this.
We saw record sales in our core business and a bumper year of licensing income, delivering the best financial results in our company's history. Our forever ethos is fundamental. We take decisions for the long term, not to make next week's numbers look good. We don't need huge spreadsheets of customer data or complicated data algorithms. We know. And we know because we stay close to our fans and customers.
Yeah, I don't know how true that is. But
I mean, some of that is absolute corporate waffle. But you can't deny that it's a powerhouse British business.
It's doing well. It's all doing well, isn't it? That's the thing. It's just amazing how.
Yeah, being on the FTSE 100 is not a bad. That's a notable thing.
Yes,
it's the 100 most highly capitalized blue chip businesses.
But it's still an achievement. I mean, as we said, whether you love them or loathe them, getting on the FTSE 100 is amazing, and keep making profits. Yeah, again, we can just do
some of this Games Workshop stuff.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that. We can probably explain those profits.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to some happier awards news, Jamie. What you had on?
Awards news. I haven't done awards news in a while. This is great. Now, on the 30th of July, the committee of the Diana Jones Award, the annual award for excellence in gaming that's given out to everything from individual games to individual gamers, like publishers or designers, to entire conventions, announced its 2025 winners in Indianapolis ahead of the Gen Con convention. This year, the committee announced a tie, naming both Daybreak and author Rose Estes as joint recipients of the 2025 award. The board game Daybreak, by designers Matt Leacock and Matteo Menapace, is a cooperative game about the climate crisis and reflects both the scale of the challenge and the potential for global cooperation. The Diana Jones Committee praised the game for offering a rare sense of hope in the context of climate change, described it as inspirational and scientifically accurate. In addition to its thematic ambitions, Daybreak was recognised for its innovative use of environmentally sustainable components and its emphasis on community-driven solutions as much as technological ones. Rose Estes was honoured for her foundational contributions to gaming literature. She was one of the first employees at TSR, the company that originally produced Dungeons & Dragons, and among the few women at the company in its early years. Wrote the original Endless Quest novel in her own time using a non-linear pick-a-path format. She later wrote many additional titles and now operates the Hauser Gallery in Seal Rock, Oregon, In 2022, she was inducted into the Gamma Hall of Fame. That's the Game Makers Association of America. I mean, finalists for this year also included journalist Charlie Hall and the tabletop news platform Rascal News. I gotta say,
yeah,
such a great award. The fact that, we go to Rascal for quite a lot. I know Ian's a paid subscriber. I'm a non-paying subscriber. Are you a subscriber, Oliver?
I'm not, no.
That's fair enough. We go through the whole spectrum. It's good. Yeah. And Charlie's work I've kind of read kind of throughout a lot of gaming from a lot of different sites, and some really good stuff. I mean, all of the nominees, fantastic. The fact they were nominated is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Daybreak. Congratulations to Rose Estes.
Congratulations to all the nominees again, I think.
Oh, for goodness sake, yes.
Yeah.
I've in our little discussion here, did we play Daybreak?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
I didn't.
Okay, you haven't, and I definitely haven't. I don't think Ian has. So we continue the long tradition of Brainwaves, and we're keeping it up, of not really playing all these highly nominated games of the year.
If I can just name drop, the closer I came to playing Daybreak, or to Daybreak, was interviewing Matteo Monapace at the Spiel des Jahres Awards when they...
Ooh.
So, but yeah, no, I haven't played it.
I mean, that's pretty close. I might see if I can try and get a go at Tabletop Scotland with someone or some people. I'm sure. Okay. I'm sure Ian's editing this. Ian, we might do this at Tabletop Scotland. We might get some more people. I don't know.
On the 12th of July, Alfred John Leonardi, board game designer, teacher, and founder of Nova Game Designs, passed away peacefully after long illness at the age of 86. Leonardi was known for his pioneering work on Ace of Aces, a revolutionary pictorial system for simulating World War I aerial combat. After 5 years of development, the patented format was met with acclaim from fans and military pilots alike. It would go on to be inducted into the Origins Awards Hall of Fame in 1993 and became a foundational title for Nova Game Designs. He was widely respected not only for his contributions to the board game industry, but also for his deep generosity, humor, and enduring commitment to those around him. He's remembered fondly by his many friends, colleagues, students, and the broader gaming community. Nova Game Designs has confirmed it will continue to publish Leonardi's classic and unreleased designs, in tribute to a man whose games brought joy to generations and whose legacy will long endure. The Brainwaves team's thoughts are with family and loved ones. And now to jobs, opportunities, and events.
Playfest London is an all-day board game playtesting event in South London, organised by Scott Lowe James, owner of Minerva Games and designer of Swatch. This is the 4th annual Playfest London event, which started in 2022 and keeps growing every year. This year's special guest is Oliver's friend, Matteo Menapace, co-designer of 2024's Kenner Spiel des Jahres winner Daybreak, and lecturer in game design, and also Diana Jones Award winner now, and who'll be in attendance to talk about his experiences, answer questions, and to playtest one of his prototypes. That'll be at the Bedford in Balham on the 20th of September 2025. So see if you can go to minervatabletop.co.uk/playfest. Have we look out there. Its tickets are free, by the way.
If you're a playtester.
Yeah. If you're a designer, you get, for £10, you get a 2-hour playtesting slot.
So yeah, go pop by. Playtesting is fun.
Yeah.
Well, that leaves me to, not ask for money specifically, but mention our Patreon supporters, Kevin Bertram from Full Circle Games, James Naylor from Naylor Games, and Shaun Newman from the Gamefound team. If you do want to support us financially, you go to our Patreon, patreon.com/thegiantbrain. But there are many other ways of supporting us. Just sharing the cast, as we always say, is very important. Just go to giantbrain.co.uk and find the support us page for more information. There's a link to Fanroll and Meeple and various other things there as well. Now, Jamie, where's the outro?
I really wish this was a good setup for a bit. Unfortunately, I'm sorry I've let you all down again. See these conventions that are going on, they keep stealing all the good game news Myself, unfortunately, I don't have an outro. I apologize.
You had one job. I mean, sorry, I'm doing the Ian thing here.
I know I had one job, and then I had two jobs. No, I don't have
I got too many jobs.
I'm sorry, everyone. I had a good one, and then Ian and Oliver used it for last episode. It's okay. So I hope you'll accept my apologies, but positivity, because it's August now, so things are on. Yeah. And thank you very much for listening, everyone. If you like what you've listened to, then the best way to help us out, of course, is to share the podcast. Please, that really helps out. We do this basically for free because we enjoy doing it. But if you'd like what you listen to, please share it. That helps us so out. Drop us a review and a rating, boost those numbers up. You can find Oliver at tabletopgamesblog.com. We've got a Discord, which I believe is just called Giant Brain HQ. You can come along. We do a lot of talking there on various subjects. You can help us, even pick apart parts of the news before we do a podcast. Oliver's on Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky. Ian's on Blue Sky. Ian is giantbrain.co.uk. You are
tabletopgamesblog.com. Yeah.
And I'm there. I can't remember what. I think it might be Jamie
Jam Sandwich.
I think I'm Jam Sandwich or Jam Willad or JW Adams, or I don't know. We've got Instagram, Giant Brain UK. Our Facebook is The Giant Brain. I think we've still got our Facebook, yeah. Our website, which contains all our previous episodes of the podcast. Also, a lot of Ian's writings. He's just put up a huge 2-part review of Arcs.
Yes, very good one.
Which, I mean, it's a very thorough review. It's, I think, the biggest that he's done, so... go have a listen to that. Go have a read of that. It's pretty good. And if you'd like to email us at all, if you've got any information about a news story, if you've got any opinions on the podcast, if you'd like to speak to us about a matter that you feel should be newsworthy, we can promise complete discretion and anonymity. And that is giantbrainuk@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Look after yourselves. We'll see you next time.
Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.